So here I am with Denis Howlett, my good friend and blogger. Hello, Denis.
Hello, Loic. How are you?
Well, I'm fine, thank you. And we wanted to talk about the article you've written for ZDNet, which I thought very interesting. Is the consequences of Twitter and Facebook in business, because we use this mainly as consumers.
Yep.
And so maybe let's sum up like why do we like it as consumers? So Twitter is instantaneous, like an SMS you're telling your friends, right?
Yep.
And Facebook is becoming more and more the social software of reference that everybody uses.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
So why do you think those two have so much success, like generally?
Oh, crikey! I mean, it's viral for a start, right? It's both a platform and a distribution mechanism, so you can get lots of little applications running in it, which is great. Pick and choose what you want, and because of the fact that you've got these networks of people that you can join with, and it's not just one network; it's as many as you want through the groups. The ability to be able to distribute it massively just gives it such a huge viral effect. So, you know, it's instantly accessible to people, and it's instantly attractive as well, which I mean, it hooked me in like 3 seconds flat, so there you go.
Oh yeah, it's very fast to use, absolutely. So why I'm not sure if it happens to you too, but and this is probably why you wrote this article too, but each time I bump into somebody normal, you know, not like very wired, if I would say, or just some normal business person, especially in business, they have no clue, they have never heard. Actually, even in France, very few journalists have heard of Facebook and Twitter. They don't know yet what it is. Why do you think there is such a disconnect?
Well, because the world of business is completely divorced from the world of consumer, isn't it? I mean, there's a massive gap there for a start. And I mean, most of these applications and services, as you know, are free. And business tends to think that if something's free, then it's not worth anything. And that, of course, as we know through things like Gmail and other similar services, just isn't true. You know, there is huge value and utility in having free or low cost services.
So
in fact,
that's
the way the industry goes. Yeah, very much so. I mean, you know, if you're paying $5,000 a seat for your SAP accounts payable thing, why the heck would you go for something free like Facebook? I mean, it just doesn't compute for these guys, you know, or for a lot of these guys. Let's put it that way.
And it's used by college people, so it can't be good, right, for them.
Yeah, except of course they're the next generation of employees, so you know, and they're going to be coming along in a week or two's time and saying, "Hey, why are we having to deal with this crap called email?" You know,
and photocopies.
Yeah.
Try to get a kid playing World of Warcraft doing Facebook and Twitter photocopies in a live competition. Try it, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, like in my case, I mean, I completely live in the cloud, right? And that was a conscious decision I took about 18 months ago. And so, you know, occasionally people will say to me, "Oh, we've just sent you this contract. Will you print it off?" No, I don't have a printer, right? You know, use EchoSign. What's that? And so it goes, you know. And it's the same with Facebook and Twitter. It's exactly the same thing. They haven't heard of them. They don't get it. When they do get it, the penny kind of drops. But it just takes a wee bit of time, I think. And it's scary.
It's very scary because I mean I find myself not being able to talk to normal people, but I'm not normal anymore. Because they you know, I don't know,
the horns.
Exactly. So why do you think it's important that they get it? Because they could also say, and many people tell me, well, you know, we don't get it and we don't care. You're the guy who doesn't get it. We don't need all that shit. And you're
okay. Fair enough. If you believe, as I do anyway, that the best way to work with people is to collaborate with them on a personal level, right? Then you want to be able to do that on an almost face-to-face basis, the kind of thing that we're doing right now, okay? And things like Facebook allow you to do that, right? It gives you real-time, it gives you the ability to operate in real time if you wish, and because geography is no border, it means that you can spread your network of people around throughout the world, right? So you can pick up things that you otherwise would not have been able to find behind the firewall stuff.
But when you tweet that you're going to the bathroom, right, and then you're back from the bathroom, why would I care?
Because maybe I don't want to talk to you when you're in the bathroom. It's probably not a good idea.
Okay, so
or in your case, when you're going to lunch.
Yes. So getting closer to people is something that you would say is important. Like feeling we feel in the same house, right? In the same flat,
Yeah, yeah.
or we live together.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So that's why
Yeah.
getting closer.
That-
How do you think about productivity? If I was a normal boss, I would probably say, you lose time with this, don't do that, and you spend your time doing this. It's your full-time job is to lose time, right?
Okay, so the way that I would do things prior to sort of using Facebook and Twitter would be I'm going to phone somebody, I'm going to email somebody, and I'm going to hope that they're on the other end of the phone. I'm going to hope that they're going to respond to the email. People don't respond to email. Whereas with Twitter and Facebook, I know if they're there and I know if they're not there, right? So I've got that presence thing sorted out straight away. And if one person isn't there, then somebody else will be kicking around somewhere along the line. One way or the other, I'm going to be able to solve my problem. So I can solve problems much, much more quickly than I was able to do in the past, and that matters to me.
So do you think we'll like use email less and less, and instantaneous tools like these more and more?
Well, nowadays I might sort of deal with 4 or 5 emails a day, but that's about it.
Really?
Yeah, that's about it.
I
Yeah.
think you tweeted actually that 90%, or in your article, 90%
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
of your
Yeah.
communication is Facebook and Twitter, and 10% is email.
Yeah, that's right. And most of what's left over is for stuff where there's an attachment. And at the moment, Facebook hasn't kind of got there quite yet with those things. But I mean, it'll get there.
But think about this. So you stay in touch with your friends
Yep.
or with your close network, which is very good. But like if
Yep.
I don't know you, if I want to reach you and I don't know you, I'm not your friend, so you don't see my tweets, you don't see my Facebook. That's
Right.
drawback, right? You only talk to the people you know in small circles. Do you think it's gonna decrease communication between people?
No, not at all. Because, like, for example, there was a particular individual that I know. Well, I don't really know them, but I kind of am acquainted with them through a project that we're both attached to. Yeah.
Yep.
And so what happened was that I found an indirect connection to that person, contacted them via that indirect connection, exactly the same way as you would do, with something sort of like LinkedIn or what have you.
Yeah.
And we then made that connection, right? And we worked out, we negotiated how that connection was a good thing to do. But you're right, there is a risk that you will lose people in the process. But on the other hand, what would you rather have? Would you rather have a dozen people that you feel real comfortable with, or not? And yeah, it's
talking
a
about
developing.
this, what's your policy? I think there are I've seen it on Twitter and Facebook. There are 2 styles. There are people like who accept everybody as friends, everybody who requests, or you have people who only take people they know as friends. What's your policy?
My personal policy is only to take people that I know as friends, or people where there's an indirect connection and I can see that there's a value that we can exchange between ourselves. And to me, that's the important thing: is what's the value that can be exchanged.
Well, you're very offending the people who want to get close to you or read your blog, and like Scoble is taking everybody, right? He has like 3,000 friends or 4,000.
Yeah, but he's like a network node, isn't he? Right.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm not a network node. I have specific things that I want to do, and that's because I'm much more business orientated than worrying about having 3,000 friends. And that's just a choice, if you will.
Right.
And I think that from a business perspective, the ability to have that choice is actually quite important, because you don't want every man and his dog sort of trying to grab hold of you.
Right.
Because apart from anything else, how the heck do you manage it? It's you can only manage so many things.
And the good thing with Twitter and Facebook is you control the in and the out. So the in is like who do you want to listen, and the out is who what do you publish to. You can do it private,
Right.
but like if you imagine like a representation in real life of Twitter is like nuts. Like think about walking in the street there with let's say you have 500 followers and only 50 friends. So you have 500 people following you who can hear everything you say, but they can't talk, right? It's like you can follow, but shut your mouth. You can't talk to me. It's weird, right?
Sure. It is. But I mean, I don't see it as being a particular issue. At least, I certainly don't see it as an issue for me as an individual, and I can't see it as an issue for people in business, because people in business will have very specific types of network, and so that sort of whole follower thing is interesting.
So why is it interesting for business? Let's have a look. Let's try to name a few reasons why it's really useful, except from what we've already said, like getting closer and getting in touch.
Well, you've got speed, right? I mean, people are making decisions at internet speed these days, right?
Right.
There isn't time to hang about. You need to be able to have a very clear understanding of the kind of problems that you're trying to solve. And if you ever try and deal with things over fax or over email or what have you, I mean, email is just awful. I mean, there's nothing worse than the written word if you're pissed off, right?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, you know, it's like, how do you express that in such a way that you express the fact that you're annoyed at somebody without offending them? And that's really hard to do in email. Whereas with stuff like Twitter and Facebook, and especially sort of new technologies of the kinds that we're doing right now, it's a little bit easier. And I like, for example, the fact that on Twitter you've got 140 characters. That's it.
Yeah.
So you better get very, very concise indeed. You know.
So
I'm looking forward to the day when, you know, we write articles and they're only 140 characters.
Well, that is something that should happen in video too. It's like we're talking, but we shouldn't make it like a you know, like think about people who will watch it. Hello, yeah, people watching it, friends, and make it short too. Not that I don't find it very interesting. So you mentioned earlier as well, it was very good to test ideas, right?
Yes, that's correct. You know, so at the moment we're in the middle of testing a service. And I think there's a couple of hundred people involved in that. The ability to be able to pass messages backwards and forwards again in real time through Facebook in particular, rather than Twitter. But Facebook operates extremely well for us. It means that we can do things like feature enhancements extremely quickly, and we can do things like bug squishing very quickly as well.
And get instant feedback, right, or help.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, the most important thing if you're trying to build a service these days is to have that community helping you. It's just like you've done with the web and stuff.
And the advisory board, yeah. Well, then you feel it as a responsibility too. Now, you know, I feel bad about not talking to my advisory board every single day, so I'm trying to do this, and I'll do some videos too. But it's very weird. I feel like I'm surrounded by people who want to help, and I feel, you know, I feel obliged to. You know, respect this and help them as well. So it's very interesting new relationships. Huh?
But how difficult do you find it in terms of managing that number of people?
Honestly, I don't know yet. I feel very weird because I feel that I have you know, I commit myself to update them, and I will to be as transparent as possible, even though it's not always easy, because you can also get competitors in that thing.
Sure.
You know, even though I'm the one promoting, you know, like share your ideas. And they will get better. You know, you hesitate. Like, should I put my entire business plan with you know, everything coming up and the financial and so on? Well, it's good. It's not there yet, so I don't have to ask myself a question. But I will. You know, I don't know. What do you think? Should I share everything?
Yes and no. I mean, with our startup, we're sharing about 95% of what we're doing. Right.
Right.
Obviously, the names of customers and potential customers we're talking to, we're not disclosing for obvious reasons. I mean, that would be a wrong thing to do, because you need permissions and all the rest of it, as you well know. But the fact of the matter remains is I would rather disclose 90 to 95% rather than try and do the old model, which is to sort of play with your arm behind your back, because I think that sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
Big time.
Exactly.
Big time.
No, I think we're just learning. The answer is I don't have the answer.
Yeah.
See, it's already very interesting to experiment this.
Yeah. And you can't keep your mouth shut anyway, can you? Like me.
No, I can't. So do you think it's going to be through Facebook and Twitter, or do you think those will be copied and get like integrated into, I don't know, Lotus or whatever? I don't even SAP, whatever business tools.
It's hard to say. Like, I mean, at the moment, Facebook's it is the sort of service of the month, right? And we're in a fashion industry, so, you know, let's get over it and realize that. And it is in its first iteration. And from a business perspective, you know, there's not a huge amount going on. I mean, having said that, I mean, one of my friends who's got an online and collaborative spreadsheet operation is building a gadget for it, okay, which is great. But we're in the very early stages, so whether it's Facebook or something similar, I honestly couldn't say. I hope it's Facebook, because I don't want to have to drag everything off of it and go on to something else. But
and I guess your bet will be right, because with all the APIs, which is like very new too, it's open that they can just build a widget, right?
Yeah. And I think what the interesting thing from a business perspective is, and business software perspective in particular, is that all the sort of closed systems like the big Oracle, IBM, blah 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 blah, Microsoft, they're kind of looking at this and going,
well, they don't even look at it, right? But yeah.
Well, they do. Yeah, they do. They do. Oh, yeah, they do look at it. Oh, believe me, they do look at it, and they're going, what's that? They're clueless. It's hilarious.
Well, thanks very much, Denise.
I shouldn't have said that, but there we go.
Thanks very much, Denise, for sharing your views on this, and I enjoy this format. Let's do more, in the future if you want.
Cool.
I think it's cool. You're in Spain, right? I'm in Paris. Who cares?
Well, in San Francisco soon.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Dennis.
Okay.